Hello everyone, welcome back to the Wolf Pack. A bit of a different video today because it was 1000% inspired by Amy and Maggie from Thinker Theme. I will link their video here and down in the description box below, which you absolutely need to see because they put out a video that I definitely had to take a double take for. So Amy and Maggie usually don't like head-to-head dueling games, which is really funny because I made them play Marvel Dice Throw when we were hanging out last time. And it was so funny to see them play like a dueling game like that because again, it's not usually a game that they would typically enjoy. That's why I had to take a double take when they put out a video yesterday about Pokemon. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Did they just do a dueling game? A head-to-head confrontational game? I was so inspired that I just happened to actually be at a grocery store. And since I was there, I was like, I wonder what Pokemon cards that they have. And I just happened to get this one. Do I have any idea what it does just yet? Not yet. I just saw that Regidrago is potentially a meta set of cards and I'm like, I think I'm gonna start out with just that. So today I did want to tell you about my top 3 trading card games, open a couple packs from Pokemon and from Neopets, and just chill and hang out while I tell you about some of my favorite TCGs. So let's go and start out with we'll start with Pokemon first because I wouldn't rank this just yet since I haven't fully played it in a minute, but we'll go from 3, 2, and then 1. So we'll go ahead and put these off to the side and then start off with the one and only. I do want to show you my original OG collection of this. This binder is so old, like I kid you not, it's at least 20 something years old because I had this back in elementary school and somehow it has survived. Look, I don't even know where these came from. Jokemon? Like where does that come from? We had Cow and Rarizard, really? Show me the money. Look at this, look at these printed cards. I have no idea where I got these from. I know these cards have made a comeback since then, but man, back in the day, if you had a Charizard, So most of these cards were collected back then. Like I think Charmeleon is actually one of my first rare cards that I had, but I went back and got Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise because I could never get my hand on those cards back then. But when I got adult money, I went and found these individual cards on eBay. Like my cousin even wrote the letter R on some of these to claim which one's his. Now it kills the value of that card because he wrote that. Oh no, I'm actually missing Caterpie here. Collecting Pokemon cards was everything to me. We had no idea how to play. We just collected whatever we could. And look at how many different Pikachus I have here. Like I've got this one from actually watching the movie back then. These, I don't even remember where I got those from. Probably a more recent pack. Raichu and Nidoqueen were one of the first ever holofoil cards that I got, and I never wanted to trade them no matter how many times people wanted those cards from me. It was so hard for me to let it go. Ninetales was actually a card that my cousin got. This was his rarest card, and I ended up, just taking it from him since he didn't want it anymore either. And I will say though that one of the things that did kind of deter me back in the day for Pokemon was the fact that there were different art styles. It just didn't look consistent for me, and I didn't like that back then, but I'm way more open to it now. See here how Gloom looks kind of like 3D-ish, and then we have like Vileplume in this green haze, so it just looks so different. And I really liked it when cards are more consistent. See this here, the art styles look very consistent across like Mankey, Primeape, Growlithe, and Arcanine. One of my favorite Pokemon ever, Alakazam. I might even just do that now. Maybe if Alakazam is still competitive nowadays, I would build an Alakazam deck in a heartbeat. Nothing just beats like the OG Pokemon, I think Haunter was the card that I got the most of because I always had like the fossil booster packs and they just always came with Haunter. I always had this card. Ooh, Chansey. Oh my goodness, this card was so rare. Oh, I have 2 of them. 2 Chanseys, one second edition, one regular edition. These were absolutely stunning. I loved Chansey. I don't know how I remember this, but I do remember that Hitmonchan holofoil actually was my first ever holofoil. I know I mentioned Nidoqueen and Raichu being my first, like among the first holofoils, but the first ever one that I received, Hitmonchan right here. This was like the hardest choice ever to make back when you were playing blue, red, and yellow. It was like, do I get Hitmonlee or do I get Hitmonchan in the Psychic Gym? Which one? And I always chose Hitmonchan until I realized later that Hitmonlee was a freaking monster. Till this day, I still play red and blue on an emulator. It's just a game that just survives the test of time. Gyarados looks crazy. All the legendary birds. Mewtwo in the movie form and non-movie form. Mew, when the first Pokemon movie ever came out, I thought it was like super rare and people were like, oh, what does this mean? And I think Somehow I still remember this, but I feel like people translated this to I-beam. I'm not sure if that is actually what it was, but yeah, Ancient Mew here was like I-beam or something. But all the OG trainer cards. Freaking Bill, which was original Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards. Some energies. The one card I'm missing here is a Caterpie, so I'm gonna have to find that somewhere. So yeah, these are my OG Pokemon cards, and what I love the most about these is how relatable they were to the actual video game, because I was definitely more into the video game than the actual card game. But then the collector in me wanted to collect all the cards in this binder when I grew up later. Or did I grow up? Now, fast forwarding all the way multiple generations to the latest one. This is the Crown Zenith pack. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know that I absolutely love Pokemon. Every time I go to Tokyo, every time I go to Japan, I'm always bringing back some kind of Pokemon themed haul. The latest being, let's see, I got a swimmy thing and some figurines like Mew and stuff. I played all the video game generations, and I would say, I wouldn't say I'm an expert in knowing every single one, but I am familiar with like 98% of them. I have never heard of Regidrago or Regieleki. Then again, maybe it's because I didn't collect the legendaries in the last video game. I kind of stopped at endgame there. But I mean, this looks like a dragon version and an electric version of the Regirock, Regice, and Registeel. That's probably what they are. This is the holofoil. It is Regidrago Hammer In at 30. So in terms of like the actual card game itself, I did play it a few times. One was in the actual, so it was the Pokemon trading card game, video game. I love that one. It was so fun. And I wish they made a new reiteration of that. And then I also played the newer ones, which kind of taught you how to play with the reward system. I need like a quick refresher on it in order for me to remember how to play again. These full art cards look so modern nowadays. Look at that. Oh wow, this is actually a legit Pokemon card. How funny. Look at this giant card. It's the size of my face. Let's put that side by side with Regieleki over here. That's insane. Let's open all 4 of them right now. All right, now I know there's a whole system of what card you put behind your hands, but you know what? I don't know it, so we'll just play off of that. We have Oddish, Seal. Ooh, these are the OG Pokemon. Look at that. Kricketot, Aaron. Ooh, I love this Pokemon. I always got this one because it's final evolution. Aaron, Lairon, Aggron. Aggron was a freaking monster. And Ultra Ball. Ooh, look at this. Look how shiny that is. You can use this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. I mean, that sounds like money right there. You get any search cards for a TCG, usually those are really good. Holofoil here looks like Bea. Discard top 5 cards of your deck and attach any energy cards you discarded in this way to your benched Pokemon in any way you like. That doesn't sound too bad there. Little risk and reward. We have Electric Energy, Crushing Hammer, and Dusclops. Oh wow, look at this. I love Dusclops. Dusclops was also really fun to use in the game. All right, pack number 2. We have here Yanma, Ponyard. Oh my goodness, if any of you played the most recent Pokemon iteration, the last evolution of Ponyard, it goes Bishop, Ponyard to like whatever the crazy one is, King Bishop or something like that. My God, he hits like a tank. Definitely made it along my final 6. We have Goofy Bidoof, a potion, which still does the same thing, I think, from back then. Heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. I think it was heal 20 back then. We have, ooh, an alternate Mr. Mime, Galarian Mr. Mime. Larvesta is the holo for this one, with Live Coal. And then we also have a Luxray, some colorless energy, Soul Rock, Rare Candy, look at that. Choose one of your bench Pokemon and play, and then Luxio to finish it off. See, this right here is new to me. I have no idea what Rapid Strike means, but that is interesting. Maybe it's a mechanic where it allows the Pokemon to attack immediately as soon as it's evolved or played. We have Rockruff, Tangela, Baltoy, Galarian Meowth, Energy Retrieval. This also has stood the test of time. Rescue Carrier is the holo foil for this one. Put up to 2 Pokemon, each with 90 HP or less, from your discard pile into your hand. Very cool. Yanmega. Evolve. Oh, the evolution of Yanma. I forgot this Pokemon evolved now. And V-Star. What is a V-Star card? What is a V-Star card? Another Ultra Ball. Friends in Hisui. Oh, that's fun. I love this game too. In Arceus, Pokemon Arceus was really fun. Draw 3 cards. There's a card that exists like that nowadays. Really? Draw 3 cards? That's Ultra Pot of Greed. And then Lost Vacuum. Okay, and then last and final pack of this set, we have Shinx, Pancham, Snorunt, Rockruff, Tangela, another one, Oddish. Ooh, this is the holo for this one. Oh! Okay, this looks, I don't know how rare this card is, but it looks pretty rare. Okay, not too crazy rare, but it still looks pretty cool though. I love the full art. It's really nice, actually. Water Energy, another rare candy, Bisharp. Here we go, see? So we had Poniard, Bisharp, just missing Kingyard, I think. And then Lunatone to finish it off. But yeah, overall, maybe I'm gonna look into an Alakazam deck or one of these, maybe a Regidrago deck to see how that plays out. But I think, you know, especially listening from Amy Maggie's video, I would love to do like local tournaments or something just very casual. And I mean, if we have to travel to Hawaii to compete in globals or whatever the crazy leagues are there, I mean, that's just a fun excuse to travel. So I'm not gonna make it into crazy leagues like that, but it would be really fun to just experience what local tournament is like. But Pokemon is definitely one that I want to dive back into. I will be building a deck for this. It's not, like I wasn't joking when I said I'm gonna buy some booster packs. I actually did, because I really wanna get back into this and start playing. Because it is really fun though. I did enjoy it a lot. I never not enjoyed playing Pokemon. I did enjoy it a lot. I just didn't have anyone to play with. But now I think I can convince some people to join in with me. So Amy Maggie, thank you for reigniting my passion for Pokemon once again. I can't wait to dive back into it. And I did want to tell you, however, about some other TCGs that I had. Now this year is definitely the year for TCGs. Altered came out, which I also backed. Star Wars Unlimited, which I got some booster packs for too. I'm a little too invested in too many different types of TCGs. And then there's also Lorcana. Now Lorcana, I did get to play for the first time, and then my friend Dennis also got me a ton of cards too to play with. So Lorcana is something that I am debating about getting. But you know, as you can see here from all the TCGs, I'm already pretty invested in many of them right now. And I have, like, Lorcana I have a mixed relationship with. I've like, was super excited about it, and then it was super hard to get, so it went down, and then now it's like climbing back up now that I've played it. But it still is a little bit too simple, so it's kind of like plateau for me, and we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe it'll go up or down. We'll see. And then you also might have seen that I played the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering. But Magic the Gathering, honestly, like, there's nothing wrong with that game. It is fun, but I will say that it was way less complex than I thought it'd be. Like, honestly, I just feel like the complexity is, I may be triggering some people here. I feel like the complexity of Magic the Gathering is around the same as Lorcana. And ultimately, like, my #1 favorite TCG is Yu-Gi-Oh! For the complexity. And I really love it. I think it's really hard to onboard new people to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's so many different effects and how they chain across the speeds and everything. But it still remains like my favorite TCG to this day. Right behind that, I will say that the one that surprised me the most is Neopets. Now, again, this is not a sponsored video by any means. I did do sponsored content for them back then, but I did get all these packs and stuff on my own. I purchased this on my own because this is a game that I want to introduce to more people. Especially my niece, she really wants to learn how to play this one. So she's gonna play as the Fire Uni, and I'm gonna play as the Starry Akara deck. I actually got like 3 more of these starter decks because I wanna introduce this to some of my friends too. I know they're gonna love it, but I do wanna open maybe like a pack or 2 because I got a brand new booster box as well from the Neopets Battle Dome. And I think overall, that's what makes me kind of get into a TCG more, is like accessibility. Like if I'm able to just go to a store and get some Pokemon cards, get some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, that makes me more inclined to play it versus Lorcana, which was so hard to get back then. And I think that's why it kind of turned me off for a bit, because it's so hard to get some cards. And like, there has to be a way to deter people who are buying cards to just sell them versus buying cards to play them like I do. But you know, I don't know. The Battle Dome trading card games are not, from what I've seen, I haven't seen these in any retail stores or any friendly local gaming stores that I've been to, but I did get these, I just ordered these online. If you haven't heard about the Neopets trading card game, I'll go and link my video up there that I did with Bonds. But basically what I really love about this game is that there's dice rolling involved. And even though it's super random, there are still ways to mitigate the dice, and I think they will hopefully come up with some new cards that mitigate the dice even more. But I really love the training mechanism here, because on your turn, you're going to draw, and then train your Neopets. So it's very similar to Pokemon in that sense. You have like a creature, and then the training is fun because you get to equip them with different items like swords, and you get to use potions. You get to also use a form of evolution mechanic that's similar to Pokemon 2, but here it's a paintbrush. If you have that particular paintbrush, then you upgrade your Neopet to become like the painted version. And it's really fun because then they just become OP. And then you just roll dice and then you compare 3 different types of stats. You compare your strength, which is overall like your attack damage. You compare your agility, which is the ability of your opponent to escape. It's kind of like a shield. So it like defends against your attack. And then the last one is the one where it allows you to re-roll more dice. So that right there was probably the most fun part about Neopets and why I love it so much. Plus, it's really easy to teach to people. Like versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very difficult to teach to people. I also didn't grow up with Neopets, that's why I'm more connected with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But I think the game itself really speaks for itself because the mechanics are really fun. So here we got Bank Manager, Poogle, Ukiberry, Ubiki Berry Elixir. Ooh, a holofoil cow and a holofoil Breadmaster. This card I've never seen just yet. Shuffle 3 cards from your inventory into your deck. Search your deck for 1 card and play it or add it to your inventory. Oh yeah, the legend card looks so sick. Also have a Fairy Hot Dog, a Bomberry Elixir, and a Takai, a Code Stone. So Code Stones are what you need in order to level up your Neopet, because if I had, for instance, a Poogle here, a Code Stone, you would need to attach a Code Stone to it, and this is how you train your Neopet, and then it increases its stats as you play throughout the game. So now, this agility here for Poogle would become 3 + 1, which would be 4. If you all haven't tried Neopets just yet, honestly, it's worth a shot. Next up for pack number 2, we have Galert, Aisha, Kachik, which I've seen many times in different forms. They have a lot of alternate art cards for this one. Oh my goodness, tell me this does not look crazy. The Nova Blade. No, this looks like it's super rare, look at that. During a battle phase, you may roll 1 die. On a success, deal 1 damage to your opponent's Neopet, and your Neopet heals 1 damage. That looks sick. We also have, a fairy version of Cow with 5 attack and 6 agility. No, that's insane. That's insane. We also have a Fire Galert, Athea for a fairy, and then another Code Stone with Mount. So I think what I want to do is when I get Josh over here, I want to introduce him to, he already actually knows how to play because he helped me and Bonds film this, but I want to get him to play one of these decks and then maybe we can play for booster packs or something. That's like the funnest part. That right there is what I did like a lot about Magic, is that they often played for a booster pack reward, and I love that. Every time there's an incentive to win, I'm down for it. Okay, so that right there is probably my number 2 top TCG of 2024 so far, until we'll see how Pokemon ranks up later. And then my number 1 that has reigned supreme, that I don't see not reigning supreme for a very long time, is the one and only Yu-Gi-Oh! The top TCG of all time. And I did want to just show you some of my cards that I got absolutely swept in anyway, but these are some cards that I had. My favorite deck right here is the Atlantean deck. So I had a bunch of Zixies, totally awesome. This card was worth hundreds back in the day, hundreds. We have Brionac, also was like $300 back then. Trishula, I pulled this out of a booster pack. It was the cover art card for a booster pack. And I actually went right after college. I went after class. I went to a local trading card game shop and bought 1 pack. I kid you not, I bought 1 pack. And when I pulled this card, my hands were shaking. Because like, oh my God, I just pulled a Trishula, which was like $400, $500. And I didn't sell it. I couldn't do it because I've never pulled the cover art card. And I just kept it ever since, but people were really trying to buy this off of me. So that was Trish. Also a bunch of other ones. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This is worth a ton. Gungnir was at one point banned. I don't know if it's still banned now. Big Eye, and then yeah, this was my Atlantean deck. I mean, Max C's. If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, you know these cards. Some Mermail cards. So this is my water themed deck because I'm always big on elements overall. So I had to build a water themed deck, and this one did very, very well. Let's see, my other casual one that I started to build. I think what was this one? Oh, my ABC deck. This is fun. So I had an ABC Dragon deck. I thought it was just incredibly easy to just put them together and make an XYZ Dragon Cannon, ABC Dragon Buster and stuff. I loved how mobile this deck was. I really did like my Atlanteans, but in terms of like the most fun I've ever had, it was because of this one. And that is my DDD deck. If you ever watched like the second Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation series, was it with Jaden, I think, being the main protagonist? He played against the DDD deck and it was so cool to see. Like, I think the concept behind this deck was what appealed to me the most because you could have a fusion, you could have a synchro, you could have a Zixis, and they're all just summoning each other. And I just love the multiple ways you can summon these cards, which is why I originally started a DDD deck. And this one did very well. I think this was actually my most successful deck in terms of competitiveness. And then lastly, I also did this one for fun alongside the ABC Dragon deck, and that was the Magician deck. I started a Magician deck, which is funny because Josh actually started a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. All my cards got completely swept by his. Look at this, I had 3 different alternate arts of Dark Magician, and yeah, you get to summon all the different magicians. I'm sure this deck actually has more viability now because of how many card options. And then the Eye of Timaeus. That series is so good. Did any of you see the original Yu-Gi-Oh series? And spoiler alert, I don't know, it's been 20 years by now. I should have seen the series by now. But when Yugi lost in that battle, it was like everyone was shocked. The world was shook because Yugi never loses. And the fact that he lost and he had to come back and it's all the god cards to get his comeback and he lost, that was like the wildest twist in the series and I just can't get over it to this day, which is why I was so connected with it. So I think overall, the theme of today is that I usually play TCGs because of how connected I am with either the show and or the video game. That's why I was so connected to Pokemon, to Yu-Gi-Oh, because I watched both of their series and I played all their games. Neopets, I think I would have been way more connected with it if I actually played the Neopets like on the PC or whatever. But I still love the game without knowing any prior history to it, which I think speaks a lot of volume to the mechanics itself. But other than that, I think these are my top 3 TCGs for 2024 so far. I definitely feel like Pokemon's gonna climb up there with how invested I'm about to get with that one. If you made it to the very, very end, go ahead and comment your favorite Pokemon down below. I know you have one. I know you have one. You've heard of them, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.